who have been released. Remember, they were not a part of this deal that had been negotiated between Israel and Hamas that was facilitated by Qatar, Egypt and the United States. And we still have Ms. Helen Barrell, who's a former director at Israel's National Security Council. She's joining us live from Tel Aviv. Ms. Barrell, these are images that are being beamed straight out from the West Bank and also from the Rafah border crossing. It's all still, it all hangs by a thread. The ceasefire, if one could describe this to be a ceasefire, has held by and large, and there have been incidents, minor incidents that have in fact happened. But I want to get back to what has in fact happened when the Palestinians, we do not know as to how many, but this is what has been reported. Some say thousands, some say in their hundreds, tried to go back into northern Gaza because of this humanitarian pause, but they were prevented too by the Israeli soldiers who were stationed there. And according to reports that have come in, 2 Palestinians have been shot dead, 11 others have been injured when they tried to make their way back to the northern part of Gaza. And this is going to be a crux of this entire situation here as to what happens to the Gaza Strip. Will the Palestinians be allowed to get back to their homes and to their land?
Well, I don't think what's happening right now is a matter of going back to their homes. It's a matter of, because I think you've seen the state of northern Gaza. The reason why they were encouraged to move down south is the knowledge of what would await them if they stayed up north in the eye of the storm, where fighting is very, very ferocious. So what we're seeing here is heeding the call of Hamas to come back and protect Hamas and act as human shields.
Do you think they were heeding the call of Hamas? I mean, do you think Hamas actually has that kind of a leverage on the Palestinian civilians? Because a lot of Palestinian civilians, they wanted to get on with their lives. Hamas, before the beginning of this conflict, had become extremely unpopular with the population in the Gaza Strip. Do you think people would be heeding the call of Hamas and then going back to their homes, knowing full well that the Israeli military is waiting for them there?
Yes, I mean, I actually think that's exactly what's happening. And I don't think that a few hundreds going back is a sign of popularity or lack thereof. A lot of people, don't forget, in the Gaza Strip are affiliated with Hamas. A lot of it is without any choice, because those are the terms of living under Hamas in the Gaza Strip. It's a dictatorship, certainly no less worse than North Korea or anything else that you can imagine. So absolutely, a lot of people are still concerned about
Ms. Barrell, we're completely out of time, but my last question to you, I hope you can answer that in about 30 seconds, if you may. What do you think is going to happen in the Gaza Strip? Does Israel have a long-term plan for the Gaza Strip? Will the Palestinians who've been driven out of their homes from northern Gaza, will they be allowed to go back home?
I think if we're talking about a long-term plan, of course they'll go home, because they live in the Gaza Strip, and obviously Egypt isn't taking them, Jordan isn't taking them, nobody is opening up and hoping to take them back. But we have to understand, we're talking about a very long-term situation in which Gaza will have to be reconstructed only after Hamas has lost both its governance ability and its military capability. We will not live with Hamas on our borders any longer. Not going to happen. Long term, they will go back to their homes.
All right. I think we're completely out of time. I think you've, of course, spelled out with a lot of clarity in terms of how the Israeli government is, of course, proceeding with this very tenuous, delicate situation that is unfolding. These are images, one from the West Bank and one from the Rafah border crossing, of what is unfolding there. This is going to be a long and a difficult night, but one hopes that the agreement that has been arrived at stands and is fulfilled, and the hostages and prisoner exchange, of course, goes ahead smoothly, so that there is a humanitarian pause again tomorrow and there can be more captives and prisoners that can be exchanged. We'll slip into a short break now, and this is what we are tracking. This is the big developing story at this moment, and we'll continue with our coverage, because these are live images at this moment of what is happening in this crucial part of the deal that is being implemented and is being executed at this moment. 13 Israeli captives who had been captured by Hamas on the 7th of October have been released. This is according to the Israeli media. They've been handed over to members of the Red Cross, and they're being taken through the Rafah border crossing, from where they'll be airlifted and then brought into the state of Israel. On the other hand, there are 39 Palestinian prisoners, most of them women and young children, who also will be released. The images that you're looking at from the West Bank, that's from in front of a prison facility where the Israelis have agreed to release these Palestinian prisoners who've been languishing in Israeli prisons. This is the latest bit of information that is, of course, coming in. Remember, not until it happens has it happened, because this is a difficult situation that has been arrived at after 49 days of a relentless campaign of bombardment and an offensive that Israel has, of course, waged in the Gaza Strip in the aftermath of the attack, an unprecedented attack that Hamas managed to carry out, baffling a lot of military experts and strategists as to how Hamas was able to carry out an attack about which the Israeli intelligence knew nothing about. How did that attack even happen? Was it allowed to happen? How was it allowed to happen? Is something that will be investigated upon, that's something that will be talked about for years to come. But at this moment, the international effort is to try and bring down the temperature. At this moment, the international effort is to try and ensure that violence does not claim more lives. And as we speak, on the Israeli side, there are 1,200 Israelis being killed in the attack that took place on the 7th of October. On the other end, in the Palestinian territory of Gaza, 15,000+ people have been killed, including over 6,000 young innocent children who have been bombed to smithereens in this campaign of an Israeli offensive that has now gone on for 49 days. And my colleague Jody Cohen is still with us at this point of time. Jody, you know, in terms of the hostage release situation and the agreements and the back and forth that is going on, the information that has been confirmed is that 12 Thai nationals have been released by Hamas. They were not a part of the agreement. This is something that has been done well and beyond the part of the agreement deal that was agreed upon by Hamas and Israel. And 13 Israelis, according to the Israeli media, have been released by Hamas, handed over to members of the Red Cross. But there are other captives of other nationalities who are in the custody of Hamas. If I can bring you in, Jody Cohen, on this, do we know any information as to what Hamas's strategy is in dealing with the captives that it has who do not belong to the Israeli nationality but to other nationalities like Germans, Portuguese, the Spaniards and even the American nationals?
Hi, Mohammed. Yes, so we don't have too much information. As you said, we know that 12 Thai nationals have been released. They're reportedly now they've crossed into Israel and are going to be making their way to a hospital in Israel. In terms of the Israeli hostages, we've heard that the 13 Israeli hostages who have been freed as part of this agreement, they are currently in Egypt, according to reports. From there, they'll be transported into Israel.